it's LizeeAngel. That's my alternate personality. And if you're here, you already know that because you probably follow me on social, where I'm also LizeeAngel, or you're a fan of my website, LizeeAngel.com, where it's a lifestyle blog, but I'm mainly focused on healthy recipes that have helped me lose over 100 pounds. And now I'm bringing those recipes to video here on YouTube and Instagram video so that we can bring these recipes to life and I can bring things from my kitchen to yours. So last year around this time, I released this recipe for buffalo chicken dip. It was lightened up, everything was scratch made, and it became really popular on my website. It got a ton of views and drove a lot of traffic to me. And that's one of the first ones that I wanted to do because it's this time of year where buffalo chicken dip is perfect. We have Super Bowl, if you're into sports, y'all know I'm not. We have Oscar watch parties, which I'm definitely into, and it's full of award seasons where we have parties and you'll have dishes and events where it might be potluck style or you're hosting a bunch of people. This recipe is perfect for that because it suits a lot of different diets. You can make it low carb by serving it with vegetables. It's naturally low carb. It's naturally keto friendly. It's high fat, which is why it's keto friendly. And everything in it, it's very simple, so it's nothing that you have to go out of your way to buy. We can actually dive into those ingredients now. Okay, so now let's talk about the ingredients. One of the things that makes this recipe so special is that everything is kind of fresh. Nothing's really processed. You do the hand grating and cutting of the cheese yourself. The most processed thing you'll get is the hot sauce. I like to use Frank's because it has the quintessential buffalo wing flavor. You have some fresh garlic or garlic puree, which is nothing but garlic that's been whizzed down, cream cheese, and then chicken. We're going to talk about this chicken for a little bit. This is fresh roasted chicken. I can't emphasize that enough because a lot of recipes that you'll find will call for canned chicken. So if you can't roast it yourself, buy a rotisserie chicken and shred it from there. Don't use canned chicken. It doesn't have the texture. It definitely doesn't have the flavor, and you're doing yourself a disservice. Also, cutting it up and using a food processor makes it totally easy on you. It spreads out the chicken just enough so that you get some in every bite, but you're not hand shredding the whole time, and it makes pretty even pieces as well. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's go over and start cooking. Alright, so step one will be to grab a skillet that you can take from the stove to the oven. That'll help you with dish regulation and you don't have to switch and use a lot of dishes going from one to the other. I like to use cast iron because it's a great heat conductor, but whatever is oven safe as well as stove safe for you works. If you're using a cast iron or any pan really, the way to test if a pan is ready is to hold your hand over, and if you can't hold it for more than 3 to 5 seconds, it's ready. I have this on medium heat and I'm just adding in a high heat oil. This is sunflower oil that has a high smoke point of about 450 degrees. I'm adding in just a tablespoon and I'm gonna let that swirl around a little bit, and when it moves easily in the pan and covers all of the surfaces, we can go ahead and add our first ingredient. So the first thing we're gonna add is the garlic. We're gonna let this saute. This is kind of the base of the flavor outside of the other ingredients. That's going to give us some depth and make it taste like we spent some time making this. So as you can hear, that sizzles very quickly. We just want to get this kind of toasting. We don't want it to cook too far because burned garlic is gross garlic. It's too bitter. So the next thing we're going to add is our hot sauce. After cooking this for about 30 seconds, this will make it easier to then add our cream cheese in. It'll give it something to melt in. It already smells good in here. Like, sauteing garlic is one of the best smells in the world. Alright, so now what we did is added our cream cheese. And this will take a little bit more time to melt down, but this will provide kind of the base and the liquidiness that we need to add in the chicken. So just be patient and let this melt down. Okay, so now that our cream cheese is melted down, we'll add in half of our cheese. This is a blend of cheddar and mozzarella. It's both white and yellow cheddar just because I like the blend is sharp and mild to give it a variety in flavor and texture. We'll save some of the mozzarella for the top. And so we're going to mix this in and get this melted. One thing that I've changed, well, two things that I've changed since going keto is I now use full fat cream cheese in this recipe. And also, if I ever need to loosen up the mixture before I add the chicken, I just add in a splash of heavy cream. That will make it smoother and loosen it up and give you more of a saucy texture. And it'll also add healthy fats to your recipe. So as you can see, the cheese is melting and we're getting this amazing texture of like this cheesy, stringy cheese pool, which is my favorite part of buffalo chicken dip, honestly. And I am going to go ahead and add in a splash of heavy cream before I add in my chicken. So I'm just adding in about 2 tablespoons of heavy cream in here. And again, that's just to loosen it up and make it more of a sauce-like texture that the chicken can kind of fall into. And the good thing is, as heavy cream cooks, heavy cream actually thickens up whatever you put it into, so it won't be too runny. So now we're going to add in our chicken. We're going to add in the whole thing because this is buffalo chicken dip, and I hate eating buffalo chicken dip that hardly has any chicken in it. So let's go ahead and give the people what they want. I'm making a little bit of a mess over here, but that's okay. It's cooking. Drop that in the sink. And as you can see, this chicken is cut up pretty nicely. So we're just going to mix this around to make sure it's all incorporated before we go ahead and pop it in the oven to give it a bake with some cheese on top. I also like to add in a little bit more hot sauce at this point. If I feel like I want it a little bit more spicy, I'm going to start with the basic recipe in here, and then I add in what I feel that I need at the time. I'm also going to add in just a touch of salt and pepper because the cheese is salty, so I like to add it at the end. I taste a little bit of it, but I'm pretty sure that it needs just a little bit. So we can turn off the heat. This is moving beautifully. Oh, that looks so good. And so now this is all spread out in the pan. I want to make sure as much of this gets off the spoon and into the pan so we have more to eat later. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side, the spoon. And I'm going to take the rest of the cheese that we had and I'm just going to sprinkle it on top to let it melt. Now you can shred your cheese even more if you'd like to. Sometimes I like to leave the chunks because I love cheese and I like to eat big pieces. And so now it's ready to go into the oven. Make sure that you have an oven mitt when you do this. Don't be like me and just touch it. It's not too hot for me, but for you it might be. So make sure you practice in safety. So we're just going to pop this in the oven. The oven is already preheated to 375. And that just needs to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes and it'll be ready to enjoy. Alright, so our buffalo chicken dip is all baked. It smells so good in here. You can smell all the spices. It's finished baking, so we're going to turn off the oven so we don't forget to do that later. And you want to make sure that whatever you're using, you have protective hand gear. You do not want to burn your hands. That will be tragic. So we're going to take this out. Oh my goodness, it's got the brown spots on top. It's bubbling. It looks fantastic. I personally, when I bake cheeses and things, like the brown spots because that's flavor. Now, you cannot eat this right now. It is hot lava. Don't do it to yourself. But what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool down for about 10 minutes. And then we're going to finish it off with some toppings. And as you can see, I've already got my chips ready because I can't wait to eat this. You can serve it with chips. I personally like to do endives because it's low carb. You can also take low carb wraps and bake them in the oven to make them crispy and make your own tortilla chips. Or use some low carb like cassava flour chips or things like that. But before we get into the chips and what we're dipping, we're going to let this cool down and I'll be back with you in a second.
That's on.
Okay. Alright, so our buffalo chicken dip is cooled. It stopped bubbling. I'm so excited. I'm ready to eat it. I'd like to top it off with a pinch of celery seed to give it that kind of like eating buffalo wings with celery flavor, as well as a little bit of parsley for color. And so I just take that and I sprinkle it on top. It's very pretty to look at as well. Makes it very presentable. And now let's get into what we're really excited about. I'm going to take one of these chips and I'm going to go for this part because it just looks extra. Oh my goodness. Like perfection. Do you see that? You guys see that? It's still steamy. It's still hot lava. So I'm risking it all for you guys. I really am. But no, that's perfect. And it's literally super creamy. It's spicy from the hot sauce, but not too much where everybody can enjoy it. It tastes just like a buffalo wing. When you get a little bit of that celery seed, it gives you the flavor of like dipping it in ranch and eating with celery sticks. You get the chicken pieces in there that are super tender and extra flavorful, and that garlic still really comes through. So if you're having a party, or if you just want to make it for yourself and not share and tell anybody, make sure you make this recipe. The recipe is available on LizeeAngel.com right now. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.